What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva and knowledge lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Well, I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Not going to keep this as a long intro because I know it's late, and I don't want to drag getting into tonight's topics. But big ups to everybody who's up this late. As y'all should know by now, if y'all don't know, I'm a correctional officer, so I'm used to being up this time of night. I can't schedule and plan topics anymore because every time I do, I am never on time. So I have to do stuff on the spur of the moment when I can squeeze it in. So I sleep all day and I'm up all night. So it's like basically I work around call girl hours. It's like I'm used to working prostitute hours, sleep all day, up all night. And that's just my life right now. So for those of you who won't be catching tonight's chat, don't worry about it. I'm going to leave my upload up. So when you get up tomorrow morning or whatever, you can view it at your own viewing pleasure. So with no further ado, I'm going to go into tonight's topic. I already knew it was just a matter of time. I already knew Nicki Minaj was going to pull this. I knew it was coming. Um, it was just a matter of time. And it just goes to show you, just because a person makes millions, just because a person has platinum albums, that does not mean that they are not incapable of making Section A project chick decisions. What's up to Angela, third ward Colombian? Everybody who's coming in the chat room. If you come in, I don't say your name, I don't acknowledge you, don't take it personal. I'm trying to keep my train of thought because I'm not doing any notes, anything right now. So um it just goes to show you, you can have the millions, but it does not mean you have the intelligence or the common sense to compensate for it. And unfortunately, Nikki has been displaying for a very long time that she's definitely one of those females. She does not mentally, she lacks the common sense. She lacks discretion. What's up, Burgundy, to everybody coming in? She lacks discretion when it comes to making decisions. You could be a millionaire and still make hood rat decisions, okay? That has nothing to do with nothing. The amount of money you have in your pocket does not define your character, does not define your personality. Yes, you can be a millionaire and make Section A project low income decisions. And in this case, that's what Nicki Minaj has done. So if y'all haven't heard already, first of all, before I go in talking about her to all the Barbs fans, let me first off congratulate Nicki Minaj on her pregnancy. Congratulations. I hope it all goes well. I'm sure she's going to have a healthy pregnancy. She has the money, so she could afford the best of doctors, the best of prenatal care, the best of everything. When you have the money, you can have pretty much the best of whatever you need. So I'm sure her pregnancy is going to be fine. I'm sure that baby, that life she's carrying is going to be just fine. So big ups to Nicki Minaj on her expectancy. Now that we got that over with, I am disappointed in a lot of us as Black women because, you know, when this came out, the Shade Room had to post on this particular pregnancy with Nicki Minaj. And as usual, of course, you know, when these celebrities get pregnant, they want to show their maternity shoots, they want to show their maternity pictures, which is cute sometimes, but Nicki Minaj still looked like a pregnant stripper. It was not a good look. And of course, and I'm not, let me backtrack. I'm not surprised that Nicki has gotten pregnant, and I'm gonna tell you why. For one, once her ex-boyfriend Safari moved on and got pregnant, then when her second ex-boyfriend Meek Mill moved on and got pregnant, I already knew right then, well, not got pregnant, but got someone pregnant. When both of her exes moved on and basically announced that they had children on the way, I knew automatically that Nicki Minaj was going to feel some type of way. And this is a bad thing that we do as Black women. We have to do this thing what's called a one up. We got to make sure we stand on top. We got to make sure, oh no, you're not going to get the best of me. You're not going to get one up on me. You moved on with your life and you riding off into the sunset and you doing good with your woman. You doing good with your new wife. And I'm just going to sit here and be single and miserable. So Nikki made the fatal mistake that we as Black women, we do very frequently. When we're in a broken place, and I'm not sure, some sisters may co-sign on this and some may not, but for my sisters who keep it real, when you're in a broken place, you tend to make rational decisions, and most of the rational decisions you make are usually out of desperation. And basically, that's basically what happened to Nikki. What Nikki did, and a lot of Black women have done this, she's not the only one. They don't give themselves, they don't give their hearts, and they don't give their vagina time to heal. They don't give either one time to heal. And you have some women who think like this. The best way to get over a man is to just simply end up underneath another one. What's up, Royalty Simpson? How you doing, boo? You got some women that think like that. Some of my sisters in here can contest. We got girlfriends who jump from penis to penis like, kids on rides at the county fair. You got some grown women who do not know how to keep their legs closed and do not know how to fall back and give themselves time to heal before they jump on the next bus that enters the station. And that is basically what Nicki Minaj has done. Like I said, I don't care about her millions because it's always going to be somebody that's going to be so, oh, but she a millionaire. She got it like that. She make that kind of money. Her and her baby not going on for nothing. That has nothing to do with anything. And that's even more so why I'm disappointed, because she is a millionaire, which means she did not have to stoop and make a project chick Section 8 decision. That right there, people could feel how they want to feel. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. I don't care. That was a project chick Section 8 low income housing decision she made. She did not have to stoop that low because the woman is beautiful. She's successful, but the problem is she's a bird brain. I don't care. Okay. I will not take her talent away from her. I will not take her beauty away from her. But she made a Section 8 low income housing decision because, again, she never got past her relationships failing with Meek Mill and Safari. She never got past those relationships not working out. Okay. Because you have to realize women of Nicki's status, they're not used to rejection and they're not used to losing. They're not used to being on the losing end. You have to realize Nikki is one of those type of women. Stardom has given her this sense of getting what she wants. And that's a dangerous thing when you feel like because you're a millionaire, you can get anything you want. Because now when you don't get what you want, you end up doing desperate stuff and taking desperate measures to get the things that you want. Thank you, Counselor Murray, for the $4 donation. I appreciate it so much, sir. Thank you. So basically, and this is what pisses me off about the whole situation, is that when I went on Facebook, it was so many Black women co-signing on this fuckery decision that Nikki made. A lot of females, and it was us ladies, yes, it was the majority of Black women rooting for Nicki Minaj's Section 8 low income housing decision. Okay. A lot of these females was coming on the page, and don't get me wrong, you had a few sisters that was talking some sense. You had a few sisters that was anti-fuckery. They was not supporting it. They did not co-sign with it. You have some sisters going in and basically speaking their truth on it, you know. And the crazy part is, y'all, when she took this photo, usually when you take a maternity shot, you usually, in some cases, especially if this is your first time having a child, the father is usually involved in the maternity picture, especially when this is your first baby. It's just a thing with women when we're having a man's child for the first time. It's super duper special to us. We go all out. We want him on front cover magazines. We want him, you know, a part of this new journey. And I noticed with all these stripper maternity shoots, that these maternity stripper photos that she got going viral. Talk about she's the Virgin Mary. That's an insult, but that's another topic for another day. I noticed her husband, Mr. Kenneth Pedophile Pookie Petty, he was not in none of the maternity. He was not in any of the pictures. She didn't have the baby, but she's close to having it. She basically she concealed her pregnancy for a long time, but to me, she didn't really conceal her pregnancy. To me, I wasn't fooled. I knew she was going to get pregnant by this fool the moment she got with him. I knew it was going to happen because Nikki has reached a new level of desperation. Y'all have to understand, she's been in several relationships that have not worked out. So the moment she was able to get the first, you know, fool, the first guy that would be willing, you know, to partake in her having a child, she was going to jump on it right away. For one, she did not take her time at all with this situation. I don't think it's so much they got a private. I don't think so much her man is private. What y'all have to understand is, for everybody who's coming in, Nicki Minaj's husband is a registered sex offender. If you notice, he has not been in the limelight lately ever since they took him from, I think from New York. Was he in New York? And they had to bring him back to California, or either he was in California, they had to bring him back to New York. I don't know. Whatever the case was, Kenneth Pedophile Pookie, he's a level 2 registered sex offender. Okay, so her lacking discretion, not knowing the law, not doing any research, and she's not the only one. A lot of black women do this. We be so happy to have a man in our life. We don't do no research on them. We don't check to see if they got a criminal record. We don't check to see if they're a registered sex offender. I know several women that are with registered sex offenders right now because I'm in law. I'm a correctional officer, and a lot of these females, they don't know it and they don't care. They're so happy to have a man in their bed snoring next to them every night. They don't want to do their research. They don't want to check their background. They're just glad to have a man around. And basically, Nikki did not try to do her math. She did not do no research on what she would really be facing getting involved with the man that's a registered sex offender. Now, granted, he was 15, 16 at the time when this went down. A lot of people want to keep using that excuse. He was young. He was young. Anybody make mistakes. He was young. That's true. But let me tell you something. Certain mistakes you got to live with for a lifetime, regardless of what. It don't matter if it happened when you was 10, 11. That's a stain that you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life, which means this man is a registered sex offender. Once you become a registered sex offender, there's no expiration date for registered sex offenders. Just letting you ladies know that if you decide to get involved with a man that's a registered sex offender, be prepared and understand that you're not going to have a normal relationship, because basically, let me let y'all know what consists of dealing with a registered sex offender. Because again, I'm in law, and I don't think a lot of you women understand what Nikki is up against. Everybody wants to sit up here and say, oh, well, he's want to be a private. No, he's not trying to be a private man. What it is, he's court ordered. Okay, he's court ordered, because think about it, before all this mess came out that he wasn't registering, he was all over the place with Nicki Minaj. He's never been no private dude like that. She posted this dude like he was a billboard child. She had Kenneth Petty everywhere she went until he was court ordered to come back to New York for failing to register as a sex offender. Now you notice you don't see him anymore. You know why? Because the judge, his probation officer, whatever, done already told him, you're gonna have to fall back off of social media. Because you know Nicki Minaj is trying to prove a point. She would have had that man everywhere, okay? She would have been taking pictures with him holding her stomach. She would have took pictures with him or her going to Toys R Us and everything. She would have been posting up her boo thing all over, okay? Because that's what we do. As Black women, we love to have a one-up. We want to make people believe we got it together. We want to make people believe that everything is going gravy, everything is going wonderful. So you know she would have had her boo thing posted up all over the place. You notice she don't have him posted all up all over the place because 9 times out of 10, and I could be wrong, but 9 times out of 10, he was court ordered. Because as a registered sex offender, you're not allowed to have a Facebook page, okay? You're not allowed to have social media access, which means if the judge, if the law is telling you as a registered sex offender, you cannot have a social media page. 9 times out of 10, you cannot be on anybody else's social media page. That's why she ain't been posting her boo thing lately. Okay? So if this is what happens, ladies, when you get to a point of desperation and you don't look at the whole damn picture because you want a man so bad because you still butt hurt that your ex done moved on or your man done moved on, this is what happens. You don't look at the whole picture. And I get a full Nelson, and that's why I'm breaking it down the way I'm breaking it down, because a lot of people are not understanding that. What's up, Poetic? What's up, boo? How you doing? My sister's in the building. We're going to be getting together soon doing the panel. Now Angela asks if he was 15 or 16. It's different reports, and it's different reports, and they're saying he's 15, they're saying he's 16, but at the time, the young lady, I think she was a year up under him or whatever. But the point is, everybody's going on the age, because everybody was saying that he's the same age. He was the same age as the female he raped, or he was a year older. It's not really a significant age difference. But the problem is, whenever you use a weapon to coerce someone to have sex, that is where the criminal charges came against him. Okay, so it wasn't like him and this young lady skipped school. You know, like back in the day, you had some people who would skip school, young people who would skip school together and go making out in your mama's bedroom or in the bleachers behind the school. Exactly, it was forcible rape, Angela. That's the part that nobody wants to discuss. Everybody just wants to give Nicki Minaj a pass. Why? Because she's Nicki Minaj. Oh, he was young. We make mistakes when he was young. But this is the problem. For him to have that type of psyche at the age of 15 or 16, any woman in her right mind, I don't care if he's in his 30s or his 40s, I don't care how long ago that was. You have to realize this was an act that he committed at a very young age, and in many cases, it just enhances itself. So basically, just to break this down, a lot of women is not understanding that Nicki Minaj got herself in a really bad predicament with this guy. Everybody wants to gush over her pregnancy, and I get it. Whoop-de-woo, congratulations, healthy pregnancy. You know, I'll even send her a Starbucks card or whatever. But let's deal with the reality that's at hand. She had a child from a registered sex offender. What part of that is we as Black women not understanding? What part are we not understanding? Why are we just gushing over her being pregnant? And we're totally overlooking the fact that out of all the men she could have chose on this planet, as beautiful as she is, as successful as she is, she chose to make a hood rat, Section A, low income housing, EPT, WIC voucher decision. What's up, Turf Orca? It's definitely a major L. Make sure I post some of y'all comments up here. It's definitely a major L. And what upsets me is we as Black women, how many of us are caping for her on this, you know? So I'm going to pull up my little Facebook because I'm going to read some of the comments that some of these sisters are saying. and how some of these women is co-signing on this fuckery type of behavior. And this is the reason why, we as Black women, we cannot grow, we cannot elevate to another level in life, because we are so quick to defend ratchet decisions, ratchet behavior. We want to make excuses for it. Oh, y'all just hating on her. Y'all hating on Nikki. Nikki's a millionaire. Y'all just straight haters. My thing is, why are we always throwing around our word haters so loosely? Just because somebody's not agreeing with your fuck shenanigans, we are haters because we're not praising fuckery behavior. Like, oh, whoop you do? Yeah, she's pregnant. Yeah, big ups for Nikki. No, she's pregnant from a registered sex offender. The bad part is not only that, there's a lot of things Nikki has done wrong in this whole situation that a lot of y'all sisters are overlooking, and I get it. The reason why a lot of us as Black women, we're overlooking Nicki Minaj's, like I said, Section A, low budget decision, because the truth is a lot of us have done it, or either we are doing it. So calling her out on her fuckery is the same as us trying to admit to our own fuckery. So the thing is, if somebody has made a decision just as bad as we have, the last thing we're going to do is call somebody out on their fuckery when we know we have done the same fuckery. And I feel like that's the reason why the majority, a lot of these Black women are co-signing with Nicki Minaj's behavior, because a lot of Black women, not all of y'all, if it does not apply, you don't have to reply. Y'all don't have to be in y'all feelings. If it's not you, I'm not talking to all Black women. I'm talking to these sisters that are partaking in fuckery behavior, because as Black women, we have to get it together. We cannot keep making the same excuses over and over and expect life for us to get better. And the bad part is, a lot of us as Black women, we keep making poor decisions, and the poor decisions we make, when it comes back to bite us in the ass, now we want to be bitter for it. We want to either go around hating all Black men or hating all Black men because of bad fuckery decisions we have made, or we want to go hating on other Black women who have made more better decisions than we have. Because we Black women, we go through it with other Black women. A lot of There's this misconception that Black women are quick to co-sign on each other's fuckery, and that's far from beyond the truth. Because the truth is, you have a lot of Black women who cannot stand other Black women who have made better decisions. Because I hear it. I have Black women who look at me with the stink face because I chose not to have 5, 6 baby daddies. Oh, she thinks she better than everybody. She thinks she this and that because she married. She thinks she this and that. You have other Black women who hate on Black women who done made better decisions. That's the truth of the matter. Let me see. Yeah, I appreciate that, Turk. So it go both ways. It's just the harsh reality of it. What's up, Full Circle Essentials and CC Rose? How are you? The question is, why are some Black women drawn to low value guys like this? Okay, no problem, Full Circle. I will answer that. One of the reasons you have females like Nicki Minaj that are drawn to low budget guys, for one, let me tell you something. Guys, these better males, I guess that's what y'all call them. I call them builder bums. These builder bums, these better males. My term, I always use builder bums. Now, a lot of people have heard me say builder bums a couple of times, and a lot of people don't know what it means. For those of you who are not aware what I mean by builder bums, because that's what Nicki Minaj picked up. I don't know if any of y'all have a mall in y'all town or in y'all local area with a store called Build-A-Bear. What's up, D. Darrell? There's a store called Build-A-Bear, right? And basically, you could bring your little niece, your nephew, your child into the store called Build-A-Bear. And basically, the Build-A-Bear is a store where they have a bunch of bears, right? And you can dress that bear up how you want it. Now, those bears are hella expensive. I don't know who in their right mind would take a child to build a bear, because the bears are like $70, $80. But nevertheless, you get a bear in a store, and there's all type of accessories for the bear. They got clothes for the bear, they got hats for the bear, they got shoes for the bear. So you pay for all the accessories that come with that bear. And that's the same way it works with a build-a-bum. That's what a lot of us tend to do as Black women. We will pick up what's called the builder bum. We will get men who come from nothing and basically try to build them. We try to accessorize them. We try to dress them up. We try to make them something that they're not. And that is what Nicki Minaj did. She picked up a builder bum. Okay. So this is to the question that the gentleman in the room in full circle asked me. Uh, so I don't digress. The question is, why are some black women drawn to low value guys like this? It's more simple than what you think. What you have to realize, builder bums are easier to please. Builder bums, their expectations are not as high as an alpha male. An alpha male is going to have expectations, okay? An alpha male is going to expect his woman to be on a certain level. She's basically going to have her shit together, okay? Now, a builder bum, on the other hand, his expectations are not as high for a woman of low self-esteem to reach, basically, okay? So, it's easier to attract or appease a builder bum because, again, if he's already from the struggle and he's down on his luck, it's not going to take much to build a brother up who's already down to the basement. Okay, so it's easier to please a builder bum. A builder bum, you can make him hot dogs and French fries, and he'll think the world of it. An alpha male, on the other hand, no, you're not gonna get away with just making him some chili dogs and some French fries. He want to know that you can make steak and potatoes and beef stew. He want to know that you are really a woman and you on point and you got your stuff together. Guys of less value, they don't expect a whole lot, so it does not take a lot to win them over. Basically. Another reason why a lot of women tend to pick up guys that are down on their value, because you got to realize these builder bums that are down on their luck, they know how to compensate in areas where they know they are lacking. For instance, 9 times out of 10, I'm quite sure Nicki Minaj's current husband, he is probably a pro in the bedroom. 9 times out of 10, he probably has platinum penis. I guarantee you, most builder bum guys who know they can't compensate, they know they can't compensate financially, they know they can't compensate in other areas, all they do is overly compensate for it in other areas. And that is how you end up seeing women who are of high prestige. You're wondering how the hell she end up with him, because he's probably doing all kind of things to her in that bedroom that the average guy is just not going to do. Okay. He's basically, he knows he has to triple up on his sex game, basically turn her out to where she's willing to accept where he is struggling, where he is lacking. What she'll do is she'll just compensate for him where he's lacking. That's what Nicki Minaj did with this guy here. I'm not saying he was a complete bum. Maybe he had a piece of job, but he knows 9 times out of 10, he didn't have a whole lot to offer Nicki Minaj. He knows that. So what he did was he played it smart and he compensated for it in other areas. Not only will builder bums compensate through their penis, they will also compensate through being overprotective. Most Pookies are very overprotective of their women. Most Pookies are like pit bulls. They're very protective of their women. They're bloodhounds for their women. And basically, that's what Kenneth Petty was. He's a bloodhound. He's a pit bull for Nikki. He will fight anybody who says anything to her, who looks at her, and in her bird brain mind, she's looking at it like, oh, he's really protective of me. Oh, he really loves me. When really, he's protecting his investment. He's looking at the fact that Nicki Minaj is his investment. So he's not going to let another guy disrespect her, run up on her, and challenge her. Because again, he knows that he's lacking in other areas. He knows his money doesn't stretch like Nicki money. So the way he feel like he can compensate for being less than a man in other areas, he's going to be overprotective. He's going to be her guard dog. That's matter of fact, that's how he got exposed for being a registered sex offender. They went to Nicki Minaj and her husband went to I can't think of the damn Trinidad. She took him with her. Okay. And this just goes to show you how the psyche of this man, he got a lot of issues, because if he knows he's a registered sex offender, why is he all over the place with his wife, Nikki, all in other countries, all in other states, knowing he got a probation officer that's going to hunt him down, see he's outside of the states and all of that, and they're going to make him turn himself in. This just goes to show you how slow he is. This is the man she chose to have her first child from. Now, mind you, that's the next point. This is not his first child. He already has 4 children from other women. This her first child. This would be his 5th child. So, like I said, out of all the men she could have chose, she chose to have her first child from a man who's already got more mileages on his penis than a 1978 Volvo. Okay, that's what she wanted. That's what she chose. Okay, so how he got caught was the video went viral when he was in Trinidad talking trash to one of Nicki Minaj's fans. One of her fans tried to take a picture with her or something. And him being the overprotective pit bull he is, because he know he don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, he got to be this extra goddamn guard dog, like, don't come near my woman. Don't look at my woman. It's all, you notice it's always the broke Pookie, the Pookie brothers who the most protective of their women. Do y'all notice that? Maybe it's just me. It's always the broke brother that's the most protective of his woman. Okay, it's one thing, give and take as a man. You should be protective of your woman when it comes to other men. But you have some of these pet pookies, they even get into their women battles. If they see their old lady is beefing with another female, they even get into that. I'm like, dude, come on now. Pull your skirt up. Why is you involved in your womanly affairs? Let her fight her own womanly battles. Why is you sitting up here beefing with another female over what she has to say about your woman? Now, if it's a man approaching your woman, okay, I get it. But you have pet pookies are very possessive of their women. And it's only because they know they broke, busted, and disgusted, and they got nothing to offer. And basically, they don't want no other pet pookie taking advantage of their woman like they're taking advantage. So the pet pookie, he's going to always be protective of his woman because he knows he has manipulated his way into getting with her. And the last thing he wants is for another pet pookie to out pookie him and take advantage of his woman that he's already taken advantage of, if that makes any sense to anybody in here. So basically, that's how he got caught. That's how he got caught, y'all. He went, they was on some type of, and they was in some type of parade. Nicki Minaj and her husband was in some type of parade in Trinidad. And I think one of the guys called himself, one of her fans, you know, of course, Nicki gonna have a lot of male fans, tried to approach her. And I don't think the guy did it in an aggressive way. But you know how when people see a celebrity, they get starstruck and how they go a little crazy and stuff like that. And basically, I guess the guy went a little crazy. And here came her pet Pookie. Here comes, because he know he broke, busted, and disgusted, and he ain't got a part to piss in or went thrown out of. He was ready to scrap. He was ready to scrap one of her fans who only wanted like her autograph, who only wanted to like, you know, probably get a hug from her or something like that. He was ready to fight. He was ready to rip the guy's head off for it. It's ridiculous. I just saw a man get into a woman's argument. No, he really was about to fight the other woman. That's a pet Pookie, because ain't no real man about to get into no womanly battles. They don't got time for that mess. Amoka, there are certain sassy male Jezebels that operate in the very manner you're describing. I believe that. That's what Nicki Minaj got. She got a pet Pookie, y'all. I mean, when they was in a jewelry store and they ran into Meek Mill, instead of him being a man about it, you know what I'm saying? If you got the prize, why is you up here trying to start an argument? Why are you trying to start a fight? With Meek Mill, I mean, that's her ex. So what if y'all ran into the same, you know what I mean? And what happened was, and I know Meek Mill, he could be phony in his own way, but Meek Mill called himself trying to squash the beef. Her, you know, pedophile Pookie, ain't no squashing no beef. Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. I'm like, he's trying to prove his loyalty to Nikki by being a dick to everybody he feels Nikki has an issue with. You know what I mean? So The guy ain't got it all together. You know what I'm saying? He's just not right upstairs. So back to this issue when I was saying how we have black women that keep praising this newfound pregnancy with Nicki Minaj expecting from this registered sex offender. Now I'm looking at some of the comments in here. So some of the sisters are going in. Some of them are complimenting her. She looks beautiful. How y'all mad about her maternity photos? I'm not mad about her maternity photos. I'm just disappointed in the choice she made. I'm trying to get to the main comments where people was up here co-signing on her. Let me see. I got to put when the baby come out when the baby come out with rainbow hair. I don't want none of y'all acting shocked. You got a couple of people in here shading. Of course she did. Of course she did her pregnancy on purpose. The doctor had to help make the baby. Too much plastic was in the way. Now you do got some people kind of really going in. What else they were saying? Somebody said congratulations on her entanglement. Now, you know they was shading her on that one. Let me see. I'm trying to get to the main comments. Now you do have some sisters that are saying that she needed to dress better than what she was dressing for her maternity suit. So you do have some women that didn't care about how her maternity shoots look. Somebody says she looks like she's ready for the stripper circus, and the baby is a millionaire already. I'm happy for her though. Somebody put, y'all, this is a setup. Nikki finna leave that ass. She's been wanting a baby all this time, and she got one with someone she knows. She's about to be a rich ass single mommy. Somebody said that. What else? What else? Yep, like somebody called it out, and I've been saying this. She only got pregnant because Meek and Safari got babies. I've been saying that. Anybody, it doesn't take. Ray Charles can see Nicki Minaj had this baby all because she was burnt. She was butt hurt on Meek and Safari announcing their babies, and it bothered her. You know, it made her feel some type of way. Let me see what y'all saying in here. How, okay, the thing is, how is he going to be around a baby if he's a petty? Can he be around his own child? Now that was the other point that I was going to bring up. Now every state is different. Okay, every state is different, so every state has their own laws and their own restrictions when it comes to being a registered sex offender. That's the first factor. It depends on the state. The second thing is it depends on what level of a registered sex offender. You got your level 1, which is 9 times out of 10 like statutory rape, you know, meaning that the child, the child was old enough to consent. The child was not taken advantage of, but it was just that the man was too old for her to get involved with him. So you got your level 1s, which are statutory, which is not as severe. You got your level 2s, which is what Kenneth Petty is. He's a level 2 sex offender. The level 2 is not the most severe, but it still means that he does have a potential risk of being a threat to society. That he is capable of repeating this again, you know, but it's not the most extreme. Then you got level 3. A level 3 sex offender is the worst. Level 3s, they have a track record of child molestation. A level 3 sex offender, you cannot trust him by no means, even in the same room as a child. You can't trust him walking down the same street with a child. Most offenders who have to register as a sex offender 3, they are very high risk factors, meaning they have repeated it more than once, or it's been more than one child, or it's been the same child, but it's been repeated times. So far, he's not on that extreme level, but the whole problem is he's still a registered sex offender. Now, the question lies, is he's going to be able to be around his own child? Um, he might he might be able to be around his own child. But the problem is his kid is going to be around other kids eventually. You get what I'm saying? Because anybody in here who's a parent, you know how your child, your daughter have sleepovers, you know what I'm saying? You know how your son may have, one or two of his friends come and spend the night. The problem is their life is not going to be normal. Um, Her daughter, her son, whatever the sex of the baby she has, um, he could be around his own child. Like I said, may, and it still ain't no guarantees he'll be able to be around his own child. But the problem is his child going to be around other kids. You know, you want your child to be able to have the privilege of being a child. You're gonna want your child to have friends that's gonna come over. Guess what? Long as Kenneth pedophile Pookie is under the same roof, she can't invite no friends over. Her child cannot have any of her friends come over. They cannot spend a night. Also, Nikki is gonna have to do everything by herself, because guess what? If she puts her baby in child care, right? Which 9 out of 10, she's probably not going to do that. She's probably going to have her own personal nanny because she has the money like that. But let's say if she wanted to put that child in child care, guess what? She will have to be the parent to pick that child up and drop that child off, because once you are a registered sex offender, you cannot be around children at all. And a lot of people don't understand, being a registered sex offender, you better off being in prison, because it's just so much stuff you cannot do. You cannot be anywhere where there's children. Do you know that you can't even go to a restaurant where there's children? That's how bad it is. If he sees kids at McDonald's, he can't go in McDonald's to get no burger. He may have to go to the drive-thru. Being a registered sex offender is very, very tedious. It's so much stuff that you just cannot do. The average stuff, the things that we take for granted, the registered sex offender, you can't do it. What's up, CA leader, ADOS African Black Solutions? I mean, Nikki's not understanding. She's not going to have a normal, her child is not going to have a normal life because of who her father is. You know, she's not, that baby is not going to have a normal life. Um, she won't even be able to take him to church. You know how many children are in the church? Nikki's not understanding because she's uneducated. She's a bird brain, and she made a very desperate decision. She did not look at the whole thing all the way through. And this is why I'm telling you ladies about getting involved with a man as a registered sex offender. For all of you ladies who are desperate, you want a man so bad, you don't care. Oh, his past is his past. But guess what? Certain things in your past, they never leave you. Just because you did it when you was 15, 16, what's up, Nolan? Just because you did it, that don't mean you not going to live the rest of your life paying for it. And that's what she's not understanding. And the thing is, when people come after Nikki and they tell her, wow, you decide to have a child from a registered sex offender, her thing is, well, he was 15, she was 16. Yeah, but it would be one thing if that happened and nothing else came out of it. You get what I'm saying? If that makes any sense to y'all. But the problem is, he had to register as a sex offender. She's not going to be able to just take this man anywhere with her. For instance, if you and your man want to go to the movies tonight, guess what? Y'all can go to the movies. She's not going to be able to take him to the movies because there's kids in the movies. If she want to take her kid, her kid have their first birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, she's going to have to have that child birthday parties and all that at her mansion, in her backyard. Good thing she has the money, because that's going to be the only way this child is going to have a halfway normal life. Because if she was just an average paycheck to paycheck like we are, she would be miserable. But let me tell y'all something. Even with the money, she's not going to be happy, because let me tell you something. As a woman having a child, you want your baby daddy, you want the father of your child to have every part in that child's life. Okay? I don't care how much money Nikki has, she's going to yearn for having that real family life. And everything that her and Kenneth Pedophile Pookie do together, they're going to have to do it within state statutes, and that's going to be sickening. They can't just up and take their child to Dairy Queen and sit in there with those other children around, because you have to realize when you register sex offender, you have to be a certain feet away from children. Kids are everywhere. Think about it. Where can you go and there's not no damn children? Like, for real. Where can you go? Everything she does for her child is going to have to be out of the public eye. She's never going to be able to really enjoy it because of him being a registered sex offender. So yeah, that's the question everybody been asking Angela, if he's going to be able to be around his child, and that depends on the state. Let me see. I'm gonna find out for y'all now. I'm gonna register sex. Okay, I'm going to see how that goes. Let me see. All right, California, because that's where he's a registered sex offender. Uh, California courts assume any child living with the parent or third party who is a registered sex offender against the children is a significant risk. The convicted party registered sex offender will not be awarded joint or sole custody or unsupervised visitation. Oh, that's only for custody. I'm trying to find out if they even though a registered sex offender may not ever reoffend, the consequences of the registry and the conviction can stay with them forever. Meaning it's never going to go away. It's not like she could say, okay, they just got to deal with this for 2-3 years and eventually they can move on. This man gonna have restrictions around him for the rest of his life. While they still can obtain a marriage license, their life and the life of their spouse can be impacted significantly. This is what it's saying, y'all. Let me see. So it just goes to show you, it don't matter how much money she got or any of that, she cannot buy him out of this. You know what I'm saying? She this is going to be for the rest of her days. As long as she's married to him, this is what she's going to have to deal with. Okay, yep. So he is a registered sex offender in the state of California. Yeah. So let me see. The question is, can sex offenders have a normal life? What we've done instead is allow sex offenders to be released from prison, but then made it impossible for them to live anything resembling normal lives. Casting them off and marginalizing them after they're out, regardless of the nature of their crimes, isn't just cruel. It doesn't make society any safer. Well, blah, blah, blah with that. Kenneth Petty is a registered two-sex offender. A convicted sex offender defined by U.S. law as a person who has been determined by the evidence reviewed in the sentencing court to have a moderate risk of reoffending. So basically, y'all, Kenneth Petty is a level 2, which means he's not a high risk factor, but in the state and the eyes of the law, they feel like he's capable of doing it again. Okay, all right. Level 2 sex offenders are required by law to notify the community in which they move for as long as they live. This is for the rest of this man's life. Okay, now this is the question all of y'all been asking. What happens if a sex offender has a baby? Your baby may be born into a child protect plan, which allows supervised contact, or all contact may be forbidden. Even when he comes off the register, CS may still have concerns and he still not be allowed contact or unsupervised contact at least. Let me see. He comes off the register CS. Yeah, not that he's ever going to come off being a registered sex offender, but I guess certain things along the way, they may spare some leniency, but he's forever going to be a sex offender till the day he dies. Let me see. I'm trying to find out for y'all because everybody's been asking that question. I'm gonna read y'all comments in a minute because I know y'all comment and I'm trying to see how that's going to go. Basically, they're going to have to go through something known as the Child Protection Conference to assess the risk he poses to the child. Your unborn baby will likely be put on a child protection plan. So this is what I'm saying. She's not going to be able to have just a normal like family. Your unborn baby will likely be put on a child protection plan. Everything will be monitored with all the professionals you mentioned being involved. It sounds scary at first, but after a while you get used to it. They will want to look at your situation and whether they feel you can protect your baby. Look at how much risk your partner could pose. So basically, y'all, we'll find out in due time. But I don't think they're going to spare any leniency just because he's Nicki Minaj's husband. That's not going to happen. So, she's pretty much in for a ride, y'all. She's pretty much in a sticky situation. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to pull my page. Okay, now let me go back to y'all comments. I've been missing y'all comments. My bad. The child is going to be teased about your dad being Chester child molester. Yep, that's another thing because the child's mother is going to be famous, and the child's mother is famous. Of course, Nikki, the child, is going to be the child of Nicki Minaj. But kids are very cruel. When this child goes to school, kids are going to be picking and saying little undercover stuff. But 9 times out of 10, she's probably going to put this child in a special private billionaire school and all of that. So I'm sure Nikki's going to do everything she can to protect the child, and that's what you do when you are a mother. But even with that being said, it's a lot of stuff Nikki's not going to have any control over, and that's where it's going to become frustrating for her. Oh, thank you, Angela, for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. Thank you, hon. She didn't have a lawyer or whoever to let her know all of this before dating him. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. This is that black female fuckery behavior. Not taking the time to do your research. She did all of this out of spite, y'all. She rushed into this relationship with Kenneth. First of all, she only knew him for a year. She married him within the year that she knew him. That was the first mistake. And she got pregnant. They ain't even been married 2-3 years yet. And I guess her thing was she was going to make it happen. Now I got the husband. Now I got the baby. So she's going into full acceleration. She's determined that she's going to have this dream family that she's always wanted. Not even understanding it's not going to be nothing like she had in mind. And she's going to find that out the hard way. What's up, they Shardy McGuffey? What's up, Raw L? How you doing? Raw L says, like this one woman said in the book I read, nature has a way of bringing two bloodlines together for the express purpose of wiping out both sides. Sounds like nature's taking the course. Let's trash burn. And you know what? This is another thing. I'm glad Raw L brought that up. This is another thing that a lot of black women are not understanding when it comes to having children. The biggest mistake that a lot of us has made when it comes to breeding children, you're not understanding that your child can have very similar issues of the father. Okay? If the father has pedophile tendencies, God forbid if she has a son, her son can possibly inherit some of those same character traits. Now, this is the problem with a lot of women who want to have children. Y'all want to go by how good somebody looks. Y'all want to go by how curly their hair is. Y'all want to go by how much money he makes. Y'all want to go by all of this stuff and feel like this is the person you should have your child from, not understanding that You could be having a child from a family that has a lot of genetic issues. Nikki probably don't even know nothing about this man's father, probably don't know much about his mother. Mind you, he has 4 other children from 4 other women. So she's not the first baby mama. And he left his stripper girlfriend, who was a stripper. And the girlfriend he left was very similar to Nicki Minaj. She's light skinned with big butts too, whatever. So apparently he has a type. And he left her as soon as Nikki came, serving her fame on a platter. He ditched a woman who done been ride or die for him, accepting him and his criminal record, accepting him being a registered sex offender. He basically went ghost on that woman, and basically, and he's not the first. There's a lot of guys who have left their average women to be with women in the industry. Um, Kevin Federline did it with Britney Spears. Kevin Federline, he was already in a relationship with Shar Jackson. Some of y'all don't remember Shar Jackson. She played as Niecy on Moesha, Brandy's best friend. Him and her was together for years. But as soon as Britney Spears came around, flashing her money and flashing her fame, he left his woman who been ride or die with him when he didn't have nothing. He left her for the famous chick, only to get with her and end up just as miserable with her. They had an ugly, nasty divorce. He done spent millions of her money to only turn around, burn her when she had her meltdown because she found out he was using her, taking advantage of her. So when she had her meltdown, Kevin Federline got custody of both of her boys to where she's still giving him a check to this day. And that's the thing. Nicki Minaj better be very careful, because this guy, as slow and as gangster minded as he is, in an event, if him or her was not to work things out, he may be one of those type of guys. He probably not going to go down without a fight, because due to the fact she married him, he has a lot of leverage. It was one thing when she was dating him, but she married him and she chose to have a child from him. So, unfortunately, she don't put herself in a very deep situation. So even if she finds out the worst of him, she's not going to be able to just walk out and leave that relationship all type of way. Kevin Federline did the same thing. Britney Spears, was proud walking around being pregnant with his child, knowing he left his woman to be with her. She did not care about what the other woman was going through. She didn't care that the other woman was in pain. And then he turned around and he did triple worse to her, because he took her kids and everything. And then he kept asking for a raise every year. Every time she turned around, Britney Spears had to pay him more money. That's what I'm saying. Nicki Minaj may have a fool that's gonna try to take her for everything she has in the event if him or her don't work out. He may try to fight dirty. You get what I'm saying? Money has a way of making people really like change on you, especially when you have told that person you don't want to be with them no more. And just the fact they know they're going to lose the Lamborghini, they're going to lose the mansion, they're going to lose all the millions. The fact that he sees all of that is going to be going out the door the moment she decides to leave him, he may damn near try to kill her. Because he not going to want to up that lifestyle. He done got used to living a certain way. He done got used to having certain things. It's going to get to the point that even if she wanted to leave him, she's not going to be able to, because he's not going to let her. And a lot of women have been in that. A lot of women have been in that situation. While says this is segment of the population who wants adults and children to be able to legally date. Don't believe this was an accident. She is not a dumb chick. I believe, in my opinion, she did all of this out of spite. Okay, rather people want to say Nikki was dumb or Nikki was smart, all of this to me was just dumb, because to me she chose to have a child from a registered sex offender, and that was not smart on her behalf. That was not smart, because that's who she chose as her child's father. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she could have chose any man she wanted to. She chose that. But I'm gonna keep reading y'all comments to see what y'all saying on it. Let me see what y'all get. L, she's a trifling pervert who promotes cucumber challenges. Yeah, this is definitely propaganda. And you never know. These celebrities are so attention starved. They doing all kind of stuff. I mean, you can't really put nothing past them. Not entirely entertainment. You might have a point there, L. It could possibly be. But I'm just, my whole point in general, rather if she doing it for propaganda or whatever the case may be, the whole bottom line is the fact that you have other women up here, you got other black women up here praising her. And it's just too many black women. We as black women, we need to stop celebrating fuckery. What's up, King Ball? We need to stop supporting it and celebrating it. And it's not just with Nicki Minaj. I've seen so many black women support fuckery behavior. I've seen, for instance, I cannot tell y'all how many times I go on Facebook, how many times I go on Instagram. I will see a black woman who's a single mother for the fifth time throwing a baby shower, and who's on the timeline congratulating her on her fifth pregnancy from a whole nother man who she still didn't marry, still don't have a future with, who is her most cheerleaders? Black women. Black women, we are the first to support all of these single parent baby showers. They're on child number 4, child number 5. There's no father in the picture. But guess what? We're the ones who are so quick to congratulate another woman's failure, another woman's struggle. We are the first to support it. It's too many black women that are co-signing on black female fuckery behavior. And it's becoming ridiculous. It's becoming pathetic. Just because you can relate to another black woman's struggle, that don't mean you should always co-sign on it and you should always defend it. We live in a culture where we want to keep condoning people for fuckery because we have done fuckery. So we figure because we've done fuckery, we can relate to fuckery, so we should support fuckery. And this is the reason why we as black women, we cannot grow, we cannot struggle, and we continue to struggle. We continue to repeat that cycle. And y'all wonder why y'all got daughters coming up who's following into y'all same footsteps. Y'all got daughters coming up, y'all got sons coming up who are repeating the same mistakes as you because it's too many of us as black women. We want to keep celebrating fuckery. I don't think there's nothing to be supportive about. Okay, yeah, Nikki is not the only woman in this planet who's ever gotten pregnant. Women get pregnant every day. But the whole bottom line is she made a very hood rat move. That's something hood rats do. A hood rat is going to have her first child from a man who already has 4 or 5 kids from other women. That's something hood rats do. A hood rat is going to get pregnant from a child from a man she's barely been with a good year, married him in a year, and boom, now she wants to get pregnant. That's something that's a ratchet move. Whether she did it for attention, whether she did it to push a narrative, it's still not a good look. And it's not a good look on us as black women who want to support women who do stuff like this. I know a female who gets pregnant every year. Every year she gets pregnant. And every year she has to have a baby shower. Who is her number one fans? Who's her number one supporter? Her friends who are also single mamas like her. And I'm like, you know what? This is the reason why none of us, nobody's in a position to encourage anybody else to do better because everybody is in the same struggle. That's why you need to it's better to be around people who are trying to do better than you or who are making better decisions, because if you decide to remain in the same company with people who are comfortable with their bad choices, it tends to rub off on you and make you comfortable with your bad choices. So my thing is, I felt like a lot of people, as a woman, we can read in between the lines. Most women, we can read in between the lines. Nicki Minaj got pregnant because of 2 failed relationships, okay? Let's not make this bigger than what it is, because it's not. It has little or nothing to do with all of these other theories we came up with. Nicki Minaj never got past her relationship with Safari not working out. And then when Safari left her, because mind you, Safari left her. She didn't leave Safari. Safari left her, moved on, had a child with another woman. Now, Nikki was totally in love with Safari. A lot of people do not know this. Safari was with her for 10 years, okay, before she became this big old mega millionaire that all of y'all know. He was with her in her prime when she was struggling. He was her number one supporter. He was her number one fan. People can say what they want to say about Safari, but Safari really had Nikki's back on everything. Because of how she treated him in the long run, people gave him a lot of flack, calling him a simp, calling him a lame, but he was really a good black man to her. Now, I'm not saying he didn't do stuff wrong too. I'm sure he played a part in that. I'm sure he didn't do everything right as her boyfriend, but that I'm like this. Anybody who was with you before you became big, that person deserves the utmost respect. People can say what they want to say about him, but he was solid. He was that girl big number one fan. He helped her to get to where she is. Okay. So when Safari decided to leave her, he said why he left her. And as a millionaire, I don't think she saw that coming. She probably believed, oh, he ain't going nowhere. I'm Nikki. He don't have what I got. He'll never leave me. I could treat him like stir-fried crap. And no matter what, he ain't going nowhere. And it came a point, and I will give Safari this, because it takes a man to walk away from a woman that's worth millions. Ain't too many dudes gonna do that. He left her knowing he was walking away from money, because you know why? His pride meant way more to him than her money. And she was crushed behind that. Now, Nikki will talk all this big trash today, but she was crushed behind that. Nikki said in her interview how she wanted her and Safari to have a family together. She wanted her and Safari to have children together. That was her plan. That's who she really wanted to have a child from. So when things went left and Safari said, I don't give a damn who you are. If you want to treat me like a simp, I'm not dealing with this. He left her. So who she ended up with? Meek Mill. Okay? She ended up with Meek Mill. Got with Meek Mill, showed her behind with Safari. Her and Meek Mill was posted up all over the place. And you can tell Nikki was way more into Meek Mill than Meek Mill was into Nikki. Nikki was doing the most with Meek Mill. She was doing the most. She called herself trying to turn up with Meek Mill, thinking it was going to make Safari feel some type of way, and it didn't. And you know what? Women do that a lot anyway. Women is always getting with the next dude, trying to butt hurt, thinking the ex dude going to get butt hurt. I see it all the time. And then when it don't work out, now they looking stupid. We as black women, we do it all the time. We do it all the time. You want to try to make your ex dude feel some type of way by stunting and shining and showing your behind with the next man. Now, this is the crazy part. You don't even know how the next man gonna treat you, and you already showing your ass with him. I know some females, and some of my sisters in this chat room can contest to this. We all know that one sister, she finally get her man, only been with him for 2 weeks and already bragging on him like she know he's the one. She's already done set a wedding date. She done already introduced him to the family. You have some black women who will do some mess like this. They will not even make sure the relationship is straight before they go bragging about it. Before they go bragging about it to their ex-husband. Before they go bragging about it to their ex-fiance. They go around putting these men on the pedestal and trying to make them sound so big, because the whole bottom line is you are still hurt with the last relationship that did not work out. Bottom line. So Nikki got with Meek Mill and showed her behind. She was all on the gram, had Meek Mill all on stage, doing her shows, tonguing Meek Mill down, just doing the most. just doing all this to prove that she was over Safari. And you can always tell when a woman really is not over another man, because when she get with the next man, she does all this extra stuff to try to prove a point. Because ladies, honestly, if you are really happy and you don't move on with your life, you ain't got to keep stunting your new man everywhere to prove a point to your ex that you over them. If you're really happy and you live your best life and you in your blessed place, you don't give a damn what your ex-man is doing. You don't care. You ain't trying to flex on the gram. You ain't trying to flex on Facebook. You enjoying your relationship on private. You doing your thing. You happy with where you are. You can always tell when a woman is still really miserable, even when she has a new man, because she keeps trying to constantly prove a point. That is what Nikki did with Meek Mill. Then that went left. That went left. And I knew it was not going to work out. You know how many black women I had gunning for me when I told them that Nikki and Meek Mill was not going to last. I had a lot of black females in their feelings when I made that statement. You just a hater. You just hating on Nikki. You just a hater. You mad because Nikki a millionaire and she could get any man she wants. I'm like, okay, so because Nikki a millionaire, she can't make hood rat decisions. What makes her exempt from us other than the fact that I have a regular Capital One card and she has a black card? Other than that, when we both go to the toilet, we both got to pull our panties down the same way to sit on the commode. I mean, why are we always giving celebrities a pass? Why are we always defending celebrities like they're going to pay our light bill if we defend them? Like they're going to give us free tickets. They're going to pay our mortgage for up to 7 months because we're defending them. These people are profiting off of you. You are just customers to them. They don't have no love, because the one thing about these celebrities, the moment you don't go along with their narratives, the moment you don't kiss their behind, then next thing you notice, they ain't rocking with you like that. These celebrities will turn on you, especially if you're not co-signing with their shenanigans. So I kept telling people, Nikki, I posted it on a couple of blogs. I said, Nikki and Meek Mill, it's not gonna work, because they both got too much ego. And I said it and it didn't work. And them same people who call themselves chewing me out and going off on me, I have not yet to get an apology about, Mocha, you was right. What's up, freelance? How you doing? Yeah, so I'm saying. So Nikki got pregnant out of spite. I don't care what nobody say. That's my opinion. I'm not saying my opinion more right than anybody, but the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. She has jumped from relationship to relationship. Let me tell you something. The only guy that was not dumb enough, who she could not manipulate, and I'm gonna tell you who that was. That was Nas. Nas. She tried to get with Nas real quick after Meek Mill. Nas was like, And I knew Nas wasn't going there because Nas is highly intellectual and he's a real strong black man. He already saw the red flags of a bird brain. She couldn't get him like that. They dated for like 2, 3 days. You ain't heard nothing else because Nas looked past her Rubbermaid booty. He looked past all of that. He looked past the Tupperware body. He did not care about none of that. He was man enough to know this is not a woman I can have a future with. He knew that. So once she saw Nas wasn't going to work out, then I heard she dated Eminem. I don't know how true that is or not, or whatever. Allegedly, let me say allegedly she dated these individuals. And then here comes out the blue Kenneth, pedophile, Pookie, petty. Nobody ever heard of him. Then she tried to say she knew him from back in the day. Since when? Well, you must have been cheating on Safari for a while because you've been with Safari for 10 years. She did not know that man. I'm like, Nikki, come on now. You ain't know this man. You just don't want to look dumb. You don't want it to look like you just found this man out of the blue and you picked him up. She ain't been dating out. She did not know that man from Adam. She did not know no Kenneth Pedophile Pookie. If she did know him, she probably knew him around the way. They probably never even had the same soda together. I mean, you know what I mean? She ain't know him. And because she felt like her time clock was ticking. And this is what tends to happen with us as women. We feel like time is running out. We feel like our body has an expiration date. And Nikki's not quite in her 40s. I think she's like 36 or whatever. She's not quite there. And what happened was Nikki got scared. Nikki saw all these relationships kept failing. These men kept walking out on her. She got scared. Her self-esteem went to an all-time low. And the first guy that came along that smiled in her face to give her just a little bit of attention, she ran with it. She ran with it. She didn't give it a first, second, or third thought. The moment this guy gave her a little bit of attention, she fell for him. You know, and it's funny because whenever I see pictures of him and her together, I don't see love. He acts like this attentive guy. He'll hold her hand. He'll do all this stuff like he's such a loving husband, a loving boyfriend. And I feel like it's all game. He knows that the only way he can keep Nikki in his corner is he has to make her feel safe. He has to convince her that he's really down for her. And I feel like it's all game. I feel like with this guy, it's just all game. He knows he's benefiting. I mean, everybody can see it but her. And that's usually how it goes, ladies. Everybody can see when you're in a messed up ass situation. Everybody can see it but you. It's always harder for the person that's in the situation to really see it for what it is. You know, we try to come up with excuses. He really loves me. He's protective of me. No, he's protective of his bank account because he knows if he loses you, he's going to lose money. He's going to lose that Lamborghini. And at this point, Nikki has reached a desperation to the point she's going to do everything she can to keep him. She's going to be buying him Rolls Royce, Lamborghinis. She's going to be helping him pay all his child support for the four other kids he has. She's going to do everything she can to try to keep Kenneth, to make him this perfect husband that she wants him to be. And my thing is this: when the fame wears out, when he's becoming accustomed to everything and he gets used to it, eventually the true colors are going to come out and she's going to have to deal with him for who he truly is. I'm gonna read y'all comments because I know I've been rambling. Nolan says, I'm defending Nikki, Lady Mocha, but I bet you that her management must have talked to her into saying that she knew him way back just to save face. I agree with that. Of course, because she doesn't want to look like she's making hood rat decisions. I believe that. And another thing, y'all notice, Kenneth Pedophile Pookie, he's not all over the place. You notice she's not stunting with him as much as she used to. She's not posting pictures with him on the gram. She's not doing music videos with him all over the place. She's being low key because, for one, he still has to go to court. Kenneth still has to go to court. 9 times out of 10, them lawyers done told her and told him, look, you got to lay low. You cannot be all over the place right now. Not only that, 9 times out of 10, he's on house arrest. So wherever he is, he can't make a lot of moves right now. 9 times out of 10, he's probably in Nikki's home since him and Nikki is married. And he's confined to Nikki right now. He's confined to her because he's a registered sex offender. He's not going to be able to make a lot of moves. What Nikki is going to have to realize is her whole life is going to change because of his. When you're a registered sex offender, there's a lot of things they cannot do. Like I said, they cannot, the registered sex offender, they cannot live where there's children. They cannot live in neighborhoods where there are schools nearby. They can't live anywhere where there's child care centers, daycare centers. Um, it's so bad to the point. Do you know a registered sex offender can't even have a smartphone? I bet a lot of y'all didn't know that. A registered sex offender really not supposed to have a smartphone. They cannot have any type of phone that's going to give them access to Facebook, to Twitter, YouTube, anything where they can get in touch with children. They will have to get like a regular, they call it them phones jitterbugs. Them old people got them with the real big buttons. Them old people that's on Medicare, they got them. That's struggling with cataract. They have to have a plain phone, like a plain flip phone, something where they can't not get on Facebook and Twitter. A lot of people don't understand. Being a registered sex offender is very complicated. You might as well be in prison because you're gonna have so many rules. Another thing a registered sex offender cannot have. A registered sex offender cannot have anything in their possession that will lure a child. For instance, Kenneth Petty, he can't have teddy bears or none of that in his possession. He can't have all kind of bags of candy in his possession because things like that can lure a child. That candy, toys, those items are known to lure children. So as a registered sex offender, you cannot have any of that stuff. That's how tedious this stuff is. I know because I'm in the field where we deal with registered sex offenders. It's so strict. Every time they make a move, the probation officer got to check out where they moving at before they move them. It's real sickening. And they got to come to your house I think every month, every 6 months. It's real annoying. That's the thing. It don't matter if you did it when you're 15, 16. Kenneth Petty is 41 and he still got to deal with this. Poetic says, of course she's being low key. So am I wondering why she came out with a pregnancy now if it's so low key? And she looks like a mannequin in that photo. Oh, absolutely. Well, the thing about it is Nikki can still be Nikki. She's allowed to do whatever she wants to do because she's not a registered sex offender. And I think too, that's her way of trying to save face and let the world know that me and Kenneth are still together. Look, he gave me a baby. Me and my husband, Kenneth, pedophile Pookie, we are still together. Look, he's still knocking my boots every night. See, bam, see me carrying his baby. Yeah, we still been doing the darn thing during the quarantine. Okay. It's a lot of quarantine babies being produced, especially when you got a man who don't have a job. He could lay up on all day with you and screw you. Kenneth Petty has nowhere to go. He can give her all the babies he wants. He can get her pregnant every year. Ain't like he got somewhere to be. Let's be frank. I mean, if y'all really want to go there, where the hell else he gonna go at? He got nothing else to do but to keep screwing her. Let me see. Again, and he also has a long rap sheet. You know what? And that's another reason. Let me tell you, ladies, and you guys something. If you're a registered sex offender, right? And on top of that, you have an extensive criminal history, them people ain't about to play with you. The law is not about to spare you when they already know you already are a criminal. On top of that, you a registered sex offender. They ain't not about to play with you. This man, Nicki Minaj's husband, has had 12 arrests for crimes ranging from sexual assault to shooting a man dead. He served 10 years for shooting a man. Nicki's 36, he's 41. He had been convicted of attempted rape of a teenager who alleged he held a knife to her stomach while forcing himself on her. Despite huge rumors of public criticism, she stuck by her man every step of the way. Of course, Nikki is going to stand by her man. She doesn't want to like a failure again. She failed with Safari. She failed with Meek Mill. She failed when she tried to get with Nas. Every relationship she has ever tried has been unsuccessful. Um, so of course, you know what I'm saying? She's gonna stand by him. As soon as he reaches for that Kit Kat bar at aisle 7, okay, sir. Exactly. Let me see. What else? So we know about that. He basically forced himself on a young lady or whatever, which caused him to become a registered sex offender. Um, the victim said he forced his penis inside her vagina while he held a knife against her stomach. Although he was said to have told her she could not leave, the victim managed to escape by hitting him with a bottle. She called the cops and Petty was arrested the same day, but he protested his innocence. Um, he was originally charged with 5 crimes, including rape, sexual abuse, and unlawful imprisonment. But he ultimately was convicted of attempted rape in 1995 and served 4 years in prison. Petty is now a registered sex offender and has to provide authorities with updated photos or location information on a regular basis. So for the rest of his life, it's kind of like being with your parents. You know what I mean? You remember how you used to have to live with your parents? Every move you made, you have to tell them. That's basically, it's like Kenneth Petty. He's a child to the law. She has to constantly they're gonna constantly check in on him. And as a woman, that would be frustrating. I would want to be able to enjoy my husband and my marriage peacefully without police always freaking popping up here wanting to know where he at, what he doing. I mean, it's a bit much. Nolan says the husband has no idea of the long-term effects that child will have growing up. No, he doesn't. But guess what? That's Nikki's fault. She chose him. He got 4 other kids. So evidently he don't know. It didn't stop him from having more children. 27 of April 2002, Petty shot a man 3 times in the stomach with a handgun. Claims Petty had driven to the scene in a car where other people jumped out and started firing before fleeing the scene. The victim, Lamont Robinson, was rushed to the hospital but died from his horrific injuries. Basically, not only he's a registered sex offender, he's a gangbanger. Oh, wow, he's really a catch. Before the victim passed away, he was unable to speak, but was said to have identified Petty by nodding out a photo lineup police brought to his deathbed. So the guy who was dying, they showed him a photo of Kenneth Petty, and the guy on his deathbed told him it was Kenneth Petty who shot him. Investigators suspected the shooting was gang-related and remembered that the killing had been over some bull crap. Petty was accused of murder, but managed to cut a deal and get the charge dropped to a lesser crime of manslaughter. He pleaded guilty to that crime in March 2006 and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Basically, Nikki snapped out a couple of fans who had a lot to say about it. Petty was released from prison in 2013. He was free for less than 5 years before he rekindled his romance with Minaj. He ain't been out of prison that long before she got up with them. She connected with the rapper when she was handing out free turkeys for charity in Queens. Since then, multi-millionaire star has repeatedly stood by him despite his dark past. An outcry from the public. Her explanation was he was 15, she was 16 in a relationship. But go off internet. Y'all can't run my life. Y'all can't even run your own life. Thank you, boo. So basically, she's ride or die. No matter what anybody has to say, she's going to go full force and make it happen. So that's pretty much what it is at this point. Basically, he hit lottery. He lucked up and got a woman who basically is in a position to take care of him for the rest of his life, practically. She said the shade room, when you're a little girl and you want this big, beautiful wedding. And I used to think I was one of those girls. I always want the fairy tale wedding. But then the things that used to matter to you don't matter as much, because I remember wanting those things with people where real love wasn't there. So now I feel like now that everything has finally lined up and matched up, being that I'm madly in love with this man, he's also my best friend. The things that used to matter to me don't matter as much anymore. So basically, she admitted that she had basically lowered her standards just to be with him. She really wanted the big wedding. She really wanted the dream. She really wanted this and wanted that. And I guess reality for her sunk in that, hey, I haven't been able to meet men to give me that dream. So I'm gonna just go ahead and settle for this. No, we didn't have no big wedding. No, we didn't have all of this and that, but he loves me. He wants to be with me. So I'll take that. Somebody did comment here and it made a pretty good statement. They said she's brainwashed. Things like that are sad and scary. Nothing to laugh about. I don't get the bad comments. This has me worried, not gonna lie. She gonna be another Mary J. Blige or Mel B, beaten and or scammed by their ex-husbands. House getting rattled off numerous. Yeah, but I don't see this being good for her future. But time will tell. But I'm sure either way it goes, Nikki has already proven she's going to be ride or die. She has proven she's going to stand by him. She's basically going to keep fighting to prove a point because she does not want to have another failed relationship. She has had too many failed relationships. So at this point, she's going to fight to make it work, regardless of how much it's going to cost her. And that's pretty much the idea with this. But the whole overall point is, as Black women, we need to stop celebrating Black women who make poor decisions. We can't keep condoning it just because another woman's a Black woman, and because we don't share the same understanding for fuckery. Black women are quick to say, "Well, why are you so quick to tear another Black woman down? Why you want to tear another Black woman down? We already got people tearing us down. We already got people looking down on us." No, the problem is with Black women, we have to learn to stop feeding each other lies. We have to learn to stop lying to each other. We have to learn to stop, condoning fuckery because, oh, she's a Black woman. And if I say something against her, that means I'm hating on her. You don't have to be hating and jealous of anybody to be speaking truth, and that's the thing. As I noticed that a lot with Black people, when we disagree with something, we want to call that person a hater. Oh, you just a hater. You just hating on somebody. Oh, basically, Turk or and that's kind of what she been saying. Is Kenneth the kid and her ideal version of Ken to her so-called Barbie? Exactly. That's actually what she calls them. That's the pet name they got for the both of them, Ken and Barbie. Yes. So she's definitely living in this la la Barbie dreamland. Now she got her Ken and she's Barbie. So, you know, it's just only going to get interesting. But I just believe that these are one of those relationships. It's going to crash and burn. She's going to try to hold it down for a long time. I mean, look at Kim Kardashian. The longer she tries to hold down Kanye West, the more he embarrasses her. Some of these dudes got psychological issues, just like there's some black women have psychological issues. No matter how much money you spend on them, no matter how much stuff you buy them, if a person is psychologically damaged, there's nothing you can possibly offer them to keep them straight. Um, some people are not going to let you hold it down. I believe Nikki, she's going to try to hold it down. She's going to try to put this united front and make it seem like they got it together. But I'm letting all of y'all know Nikki's in for a long ride because her husband is a registered sex offender. He cannot live a normal life. Once you become a registered sex offender, you cannot live a normal life. I know. I work around these guys. A lot of these guys are in my facility. I deal with them on a daily basis. They can't even be in jail in peace because once somebody finds out they're a registered sex offender, they get bullied. Somebody's taking their commissary away and all this other stuff and everything. Um, it's a lot. It's a lot of headaches that come along with it. And Nikki does not really understand what she signed up for, but she will in due time. While else says Barbie was a sex doll used in Germany for WW. Okay. World 2. So just who used to get off. Barbie has such a demonic energy. No woman call herself that. And you know, Rael, we know that Nikki has no type of educational knowledge at all. She would never even know any such a thing or whatever. But it is what it is, y'all. But black women, we got to do better. We need to stop praising female fuckery behavior. We so quick to defend each other's shenanigans. And if somebody disagrees, we want to call them a hater. We want to say that, oh, you're just jealous. You're just hating on me and things like that. And man, come on. Everybody don't have to agree with your theories and what you believe in, okay? But anyway, I want everybody to stand by so I can go ahead and get ready to shut it all down. Y'all, let me see. I appreciate everybody for hanging out in my chat room. Those of you who are interested in cable, don't forget you're more than welcome to hit me up. I got over 10,000 channels. We have a lot of free pay-per-view events that are coming up. If you want free pay-per-view events, without having to pay any extra money, you're more than welcome to inbox me. Espresso Streams cable selling over. I'm selling way over 6,000 channels now. It's a little over 10,000. For only 25 a month, but you must have high speed internet and a fire stick. So if you want a cheaper cable alternative, y'all are more than welcome to hit me up. I got the hookup, y'all. But my next subject, my next topic, I'm going to be talking about for y'all who want to catch my next recipe, I'm going to be talking about female predator behavior. That's going to be my next topic, female predator behavior. I'm going to be talking about women like Jada Pickett who intentionally target younger men, who intentionally take advantage of younger men. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to go into the elements. We're going to go into the dynamics of female predator behavior. I'm going to post it in my community when I plan on doing that upload. I'm going to be doing a panel soon with the ladies as well. I'm trying to get together with the guys and do a panel. So anyway, y'all, everybody just keep up. I appreciate y'all support. I appreciate everybody for rocking out with me tonight on this late night live chat. It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where I'm always going to serve you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Y'all be blessed. Take care. And ladies, now stay away from the registered sex offenders now. Take care. Bye.